With 10 or 20 seconds more, and then we'll start. So while we wait for the last few, welcome. My name is Henrik Gullev. I'm the CEO of Cobot Lift and one of the founders as well. And I'm very happy to have you here today and for us to talk about sack handling and how we can use that to alleviate labor shortages in the food industry. So we're going to do a few slides to give some context to our solution. And then afterwards, we're going to do a live demo with the unit we have here next to us. This is a mobile Cobot Lift unit. And then if you have any questions or projects that you're thinking about, then don't hesitate to ask or reach out in the end. Yeah, just interrupt me wherever you need. So good. Let's start. Could you please pull up some slides? I have a colleague here that's named Christian. He's sitting behind the computer, so I'm not talking to myself when I'm asking for someone to put up slides. It's Christian that's helping me. So good. So what we're going to talk today about is first you're going to general introduction. What is Cobot Lift? Talk about our company, our technology, and then talk about some of the cases we've done in the food handling industry, and then talk about how can you potentially go from here. So in terms of introduction, maybe just a technical introduction. If I'm only a small picture on your screen, then in the right corner, there's 3 buttons, and then you can maximize the screen. So don't hesitate to do that. And with us today, we also have Renata. And Renata is actually also, if you want to ask, you're welcome to just interrupt, or alternatively, you can use the raise the hand functionality in Teams, and then Renata will shout to me that there's a question. Alternatively, you can also write it in the chat. That's up to you. Good. Our team, Cobot Lift, today consists of 12 individuals. We are based, Renata is based in Hungary. The rest of us is based in Slagelse in Denmark. And beside our team, you could say, we have distributors in 27 countries. And I saw today that there was a lot of different countries represented today: the Netherlands, Norway, Germany, and UK, for example. And I think it's really great to have that variety. Also, so a Danish company, so welcome to you. So the team today, I'm the CEO, co-founder. The inventor of Cobot Lift is Flemming. He's our CTO. So we are the original founders, and we are part of this big family of companies that are located here in Denmark, where there's a lot of robotics industries being developed. There's more than 100 companies actually here. So Cobot Lift, 3 years ago, no, actually 4 years ago, Flemming was asked, could you develop a solution for us? Because he was working as an integrator for a robot brand. These collaborative robots, and he did have in this company they did have sack handling, and they did do it like manually, like it's shown here, or with even just with the pure muscle power from the individual, and they didn't like that for ergonomic reasons. They were also struggling to get the people that was actually wanting to work in this environment, and they were 3 shifts, 24/7. So it was a harsh environment and a lot of heavy lifting that was done, and they needed an alternative. They did have industrial robots there, but they didn't need the speed of an industrial robot, and they didn't have the space that required. So, and they didn't like the price of that either. So they were looking for something that was in between, some automation that was small, but still handled the task of handling up to 5 sacks per minute. And that's actually the background. That was the solution we developed back then, and that's the reason why we today have customers across 4 continents and distributors in 27 countries. It's basically because of the Cobot Lift. So we can automate lifting up to 45 kilos. So one of the things that we are very good at automating is sacks, and that's what's on the picture today. But we can of course also lift other things, and I will show you some of the other things as well now that we have you here. Because we often find that customers need sack handling, but they might also be interested in other solutions. So The space we take up is similar to a human being. So therefore we see a lot of places where, for example, in the food industry, where we're filling, where we're depalletizing into putting it onto a mixer station where an operator is still working. So it's still the same workspace required as a human being. And because it's collaborative, you don't need fences. And therefore we can automate new places. You don't have to build a new factory floor to automate. That's kind of our saying. And we're significantly cheaper than the industrial robot installation because it's much larger, need fencing that drives a lot of cost, but also because the technology around particularly camera vision systems is really increasing and has really developed. And we're coming out now also with solutions including camera. I'll show you some of these solutions today. The last point of the Cobot Lift is the flexibility, and it is flexible in several ways, but one is the ability to grip things that are different. So in this case, sacks handling, we can actually, with the same gripper at one customer, we're handling up to 100 different kind of sacks. So that's really important for our customers, that we can handle as large a part of their product portfolio as possible. So just to get you introduced, what do we have in a Cobot Lift? We have our two main models here. We have a mobile Cobot Lift and a stationary Cobot Lift. So the thing that's on both of these units, the three ingredients that are both of these units, is a collaborative robot, a vacuum tube lift, that's really giving the power of the system. And then there's the Cobot Lift, which is the combination of getting these two technologies to work together. So that's the hybrid that makes the hybrid work, this hybrid technology. The mobile unit we have is like a Euro pallet in size, and the stationary we have is 40 by 40 centimeter measurement on floor. So just to give you an idea about when I say that it can fit into small spaces, it really can fit into small places. So today our focus is around sacks and the challenges you're facing in your industries. We do, as I mentioned, have a number of other applications, but we will today focus on sacks. And we do also, I think that maybe that's important for you. We have customers in the food handling industry. So I'll show today a case for Parathas. We also have customers, global customers like Colgate. Which is installing a lot of these units, actually also using existing vacuum tube lift units and then converting that into a Cobot Lift. That is also a possibility. So good. I think before we go to the case, I think we should do a live demonstration because that is probably bringing it most to life for you. So Christian, would you start up the Cobot Lift here? So here you can see this is the mobile unit that we talked about. This is the vacuum tube. And here we have a sack. It's a 25 kilo craft sack. It has some flour. We really see a lot of different sacks, to be honest. The Cobot Lift here is basically this is the Cobot Lift tool, and here we have the collaborative robot that's guiding the system, you could say. So the vacuum tube is doing all the lifting, and the robot is really guiding the system. One of the things when we say, what does it mean that it's collaborative? It's really a question I get very often. So it means that it will stop when it meets resistance. So I'll show you 2 fingers. And then I'll show you how quickly you can stop the system. So being collaborative is something about, it has very low impact force tolerances. So the employee won't be damaged by being hit by such a system here. And I think that's really important. So I think I will show it one more time because I did it very quickly, 2 fingers. And then we just have to wait till the system is moving so I can stop it. But it's really key, this functionality here for many of our customers. We can take up to 4 sacks per minute. So now it's not operating at full speed. Yeah, so that is for the sack handling. we see sacks. Would you turn it off? We see sacks, many different sizes and shapes and ingredients. So just as you see in the food industry, I think the last thing I did was testing on lifting coca beans for depalletizing. That was the last test, and that's one of the things we also offer our customers. If you like, you can send product to us, and we can show that we can lift your product. So flour is of course very common, but it could also be food additives. We have several units there. It could also be, of course, salt and so on. So basically both bags in paper quality, but also in plastic quality, thin plastic or thick plastic. Now this here, we made it so it's easy to change grippers, but I want to show you this gripper because this is it's actually our patented technology. You have the foam that actually is made so that it goes into the gripper, and that's very important. That doesn't bend like this, but it actually goes into. So one of the things that's very important in the food industry is avoiding contamination. So when it's going into the gripper instead of going like this, you don't get friction on the sides, and there's no crumbles going into for example, a mixer station. Also in the food industry, this is not a food approved foam, but we have another foam that is food contact approved. So that's also very important for some of our customers. Then on the top of this gripper, we have our quick release system. And of course, it's very helpful here in doing the demonstration that we can just with 2 fingers release the gripper. But it could also be important if you need to use different grippers to handle different products. So I promised to show you also a box. So I'll just show you how we do with handle a box, so you have seen it, because I find that sacks are going into the production, and then often it's boxes coming out. So I thought I would show you that as well. So so I'm just going to do the introduction here. This is another gripper. This is a box gripper, and it actually can adjust where the suction feeds are, so you can move them forth and back to whatever the size of the box. You need to avoid touching the tape here in the middle. Then it's not so good at creating vacuum. And then this one is mounted with our quick release system, so you can easily click it on. So I'll just show you. And then in this application, you can see that it's this could be for box palletizing, for example, or depalletizing, whatever you require. And it's actually also possible to have a solution like this where you palletize, up to 2 meters of height, if that would be what you require to fill your pallets completely. For moving them, for example, with trucks, it's good to be able to palletize high, so you don't pay for moving only air. Good. I wonder if there are any questions from the audience. Now is a good time.
Hello, Henrik. No, not so far.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we've shown you some of the easy things that we can use our system for. I want now to go towards a case that we have done for Parathas in Austria for a system that we are using for them. So I'll just talk you through the case so you have a little bit of background, and hopefully this case resonates with where you are in the industry or the challenges you're faced with. And then we'll do, afterwards, we'll show a video, but maybe just introducing the case here. So Parathas came to us during Corona and asked if they could install, or we could install a unit for them in Austria. It was a mixer station. And for that, the challenge that they were facing was They wanted us to integrate on existing lines, and when you see the video, you can really see that there's a lack of space there. What they experienced was a lack of manual labor. They had to hire a lot of temp workers. That was driving up cost and diluting their corporate knowledge. So they didn't know that has really been a challenge. And I see that not in this case, but in other examples. We've had examples where labor shortage could be up to 20% actually impacting. So you were running 20% under throughput capacity. So this.
Hello, Henrik.
Yeah.
Sorry, before you move forward with the video, we got a question.
Okay.
From Raphael. So regarding the safety, the demo you showed with 2 fingers, does it also work in case of shock with the bag, cardboard, for example?
If it's with the cardboard box, if we can.
Yes.
But also, yeah, the safety is the same. The safety is the same. Maybe I'll just demonstrate. It's easier. So one thing is that I'm talking, but another thing is just showing. Now I just need to make sure that it's where the robot will be. Christian, would you turn it on again, and then we can just demonstrate the safety here? So it's a very good question. Just to clarify as well, of course. So I'm just standing in the way here. If you were here, Raphael, I would ask you to do it. But you can see my leg is still working. So it's really very light impact forces. So and it is the sensors in the robot that we're using. So we've done a lot of tests and technology development around that actually. So, but good question. Thank you. I don't know if there were a follow-up question there, Renata, or I could continue talking about the sag handling.
Just 1 second, please. No, thank you. Raphael said thank you.
Great. So one of this, so you know the challenge. You are in this industry and are facing the challenge every day. But the case in Parathas was that the operator was lifting 4 to 6 tons per day. So they only had operators working with them at a maximum of 5 to 10 years because of the ergonomic issues then, that they would have to find a different kind of work. And after the corona started, they were really struggling with getting people that wanted to work in this industry, or not in the industry, but working with these heavy load lifting. And then the last challenge that they have was the large product variants that they had, and up to that date, it's been difficult to automate handling so many kind of sacks. So they handle more than 100 different kind of sacks. So Christian, would you maybe show the viewers the case here so we can, and this is for visual guided depalletizing, this case here, maybe that's important to say as well.
Our main reason was the maintain of the health of our operators in production. The main benefit from our point of view is that the colleagues are able to take care of their backbone. That means they are able to be healthy for the, let's say, older age. That means in future, I believe, in Austria, we have to work the young generation, not I, but the young generation up to 17.
To combine a vacuum lifter with a robot, which allows Cobot to work close in the workspace from our employers, is really a great invention. For me as a team leader, it's important to have a healthy staff, healthy employers, and Cobot will be the solution for that. That means employers without the back pain.
So if this drives some specific question, don't hesitate to ask. Let me just describe a little bit what the application was here. So here we have set the Cobot Lift on a column, existing infrastructure. So you can say it's not a stationary or mobile version, it's actually a custom or tailor-made version. We've added a camera on the top, which detects where the bag is and then moves it to the mixer station. And previously there would be up to 3 people working this, 2 people emptying the pallet and 1 person cutting open the sacks. So one of the benefits besides getting rid of the heavy lifting, they also saw that because the speed, the focus of the operator is really on emptying the sacks, they actually say the cleaner came one day and said, well, there's not that much to tidy on this line anymore compared to the other lines. And they get more out of the sack. So it doesn't create as much dust. And I think it's some of these side benefits that we didn't know when we were starting this journey. And it's very interesting to see that the customer had these gains. Christian, would you turn back to the slide, because I think it would be good just to put a few pictures on. So just to explain, you saw it only momentarily in the video, but this is a picture from the installation done at Parathas, and you can see that the camera is really hanging above the solution, and you can see an example of the camera detecting the object below and then really hitting for about the center of the sack, and that is what the camera does. Now the system we have in Parathas is also mounted with a flex joint in the end, so it means that it's not so important if it's completely flat. The thing it needs to suck up in the sack can also be a little bit uneven, and then it will just bend toward where the product is the most, effectively creating vacuum on the product. I don't know if there's a need to go into the technical specification. We're very proud of having this visual guided sack depalletizing. We're selling it as a complete unit, as a solution, but there's a lot of technology in the back here. But the key message, I think, from a consumer perspective, is that the prices of and the abilities of these systems have increased dramatically over the last 2 to 3 years, and we have a very, very price competitive solution here with a visual guided depalletizing solution we have. So I mentioned that this installation was done in Austria, and it was during Corona times. So one of the things that was very important for us was that we were really able to realize the full potential of the solution, that the customer was really able to do that. So we did 2 things. There's in the bottom corner, you can see a picture. That's actually Christian there, so now you know what he looks like. This is our remote access system, so we can remote control the robot. Actually, today, when I've asked Christian to show something on the robot, he has done it remotely, so he's using internet connection. So and the same thing we offer our customers as part of our standard solution. So if an operator pushes a button and don't know how to fix it, instead of waiting 1 to 2 hours on a technician to be able to come, he can call and we can get it fixed immediately. And we find that actually 95% of challenges, when support is needed, we can solve it remotely. So it's been a really great tool for us and for the end customer. So that's one thing. The other thing we wanted to take the advantage of is actually we see a lot of vacuum tubes in the industry, and we also see that they are not being used. Now with a robot here and all the technology we have in this unit, it's possible to do dashboards, and that's what you have on the right-hand corner, our operational monitoring system. And here we made it very simple, but we have day shift, evening shift, and night shift, and then you can see how many sacks have been lifted, and it's just to give this change management journey that is needed for converting from something manual to something automatic, to be able to support that, to be able to have a dialogue around, okay, we beat 1,000 lifts in the last day, you know, that takes away 25 tons of lifting, you know, and really creating a positive atmosphere around this. So the operators can see it as a help as opposed to seeing it as a threat. And this has been really helpful. For example, we've seen examples in an industry where the operators did not want to use the robot, because if they were using the robot, they would get €2 less per hour. Because then if they were not needed next to the machinery, they were needed downstairs in where they were mixing pallets, and that was the salary was different there. So this data enables discussions and understanding of what it takes to change behaviors. And I think that's really important. This is, after all, big changes to take these opportunity for the individual operator. So I think that operator focus here has really proved helpful. Of course, it's also given us a lot of input into how can we improve our system. But yeah, so that was the case and the product that we are marketing for Parathas. And this was for depalletizing. Of course, you could also have a situation where you are palletizing instead, and that is of course also possible. I don't know if there's any more questions to what I've showed you today. Do you think it can help in your companies alleviate some of the labor shortages? Any comments?
Hello, Henrik. Yes, just 1 second. There is a question again from Rafael. Is there any plans to use a different cobot, since the UR10 has 7 DOFs, the OFS? Why you need only 3 for the JIB crane currently?
So today we are used with the Techman and Cobot. We use Cobot Lift can be used with both the Omron robot or Techman robot and the universal robot arm. So there's several options there. We are basically unbiased towards which robot you use. Our system is not dependent on that. But of course, Universal Robot is a big partner of ours. They are the market leader. Yeah, so it's a good question, Rafael, and that's where we have it right now. Good. Good. In terms of next steps, so if you're sitting out there, you might wonder, okay, so you think this is a great opportunity? How do I move from here? So there's several ways, and I want to lay out a few of the steps that we typically see our customers take. First of all, there is a clarification stage. Can we lift this product? Is it technically feasible, and so on? And it's always good to be sure. So therefore, we really encourage you to take contact to us or our distributors and get that clarification done. Typically, we have a little questionnaire that you fill out, and then we can make the assessment based on that, whether we fulfill your requirements. And then from there, it's really about how complex is the installation. Is it something we can just plug and play, or it needs a little bit of development work? We could also, alternatively, we've seen for some customers work really well that we actually have a video where we are lifting their product, it will help the discussion with the operators and really bringing those along the way as well, realizing the full potential of the system. So that are some of the ways that you can go, but it really starts with just reaching out. We have some email details here. You're very welcome to contact us and reach out. And we will of course also be sending this presentation to you and the case, so you can take it forward. So I don't know if there's any final questions or comments, but otherwise I will let the show stop here.
Hi, Henrik, can we have you back on the screen? Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Any more questions?
Yes, there is a question coming in.
Yeah. Great. I love questions.
Henrik, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, so the question is, do you think that our solution is compatible for mobile platform?
See, I don't know what a mobile platform is. So I'm tempted to so.
Let me ask Raphael what he meant by it. He's just writing that back here, what he meant by the question. Just 1 second, okay?
Maybe I can just start by hinting where it is possible, and then we can take Raphael.
Right, it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you.
So there's the mobile unit as it is here, so that can be moved around with a forklift, so or typical pallet lifter. So we see that in the logistics industry, for example, we are doing when they're emptying containers and they want to palletize, they can move such a unit around between different.
Okay, and then that comes with obviously 4 wheels, right? That's why you can move easily around. How you move around easily?
So we don't have it mounted with wheels. We haven't done that. We usually have a normal forklift to move it around. So it's not mobile in that way. The other way that is mobile is sometimes you can consider putting it on a gantry, so it can move to the side some meters. We haven't developed a version that's fully mobile yet. If there's a good business case, we might consider doing that. But of course, we have a 3 kilowatt vacuum pump in here, which does require some power. So therefore, there has to be awareness around this. So everything can be moved, and then it can be plugged in again, and then it's running. That's the use cases we've seen so far. But if you have other use cases where you think it's relevant, then let's discuss.
Does it has to do with the stability of the mobile platform? That's why we don't put wheels on it.
Mainly there is the power cable and the compressed air going to such a unit here. So the compressed air we've included now in the system actually developed for the logistic industry, but we still have the power cable there. And if you want to make it fully mobile, then we need a really good battery to handle a 3 kilowatt vacuum pump. So the unit is rather high, so there is a consideration there to be had, but it really depends on the use case. So that's the short version. But reach out afterwards if you think you have a good business case or an interesting application. Then I'm happy to have that conversation.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I saw that Raphael was writing, but if there is any questions, Raphael, I can unmute you and then you can ask directly. Let's see if maybe it's easier here. Allow mic. Okay. Okay, so your mic, Raphael, it's on, so you are free to ask any questions.
I'm not really in industry, I'm more in research, but I was thinking, for example, the KUKA, there's mobile platform, and I think some industry they use it, I would say, to also in the shop lift to move things around. And then I think we just have a robot that can move inside to just move package from one point to another one with a large distance. maybe that would be something, because it's the same problem, is that they have it's the KUKA AWOR14, so it's also payload below 50 kilos.
Yeah, and it's just moving a few meters or something like that, or?
No, it's a mobile platform, so it can move
Okay.
anywhere where you have a space. And then I was wondering if it's easy to put a crane on this mobile platform because of the flipping and things like that. But then I think it's just extending the payload of a moving robot.
Raphael, I don't know this solution from KUKA, but if you send us some information, I'll be happy to take a look at it if you have a good case. So that's fine.
I send the link at least of what I'm talking about.
Beautiful. Thank you, Raphael.
You're
Very
welcome.
good.
Thanks for your answer.
You just send like an example and I will send afterward, okay? Thanks a lot, Raphael, for the questions. And
Good.
So I don't think we have more questions. Anybody?
3, 2, 1, and it's sold to the lady in black in the corner. No, so thank you so much for joining today, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Henrik. Bye.
Bye.